COVID started, he thought, well, and he did a number of them in the church, because we have some really nice stained glass windows, really old, almost 150 years old, and same as the cemetery. And the stained glass windows he did, and then some other things around the church, and we decided to do it out here at the cemetery. We did 9 of them, actually, and actually we started right here. This is where we have 2 priests buried here. The first one was here during the Civil War, and that's in the narrative there of the history. He did a lot during the Civil War, and then died, and they buried him actually initially in Blandford, which is over here. And many of the people that were early Catholics here were buried over in Blandford. And then in 1876, the bishop bought this land, and they moved the 2 priests here. And then also a number of parishioners moved their families from over in Blandford over here, mostly over here on the north side. Over that hedge is the edge of our property, and then the Jewish cemetery is over here where the fence is.
Yeah, we actually did a video over there one night, well, a couple nights, and we actually got gunshots and everything on it.
Right.
And we called it
was right over there.
And we actually called the police department the next day, to make, because there's been a lot of shootings. And the woman was like, well, honey, y'all should have been gone by then. I said, oh, no, honey, we got it on video.
Oh, well.
And she was like, really? So we had a police officer call us back and ended up using our video to tell these people, hey, you're lying about the time. We've got this on. So it was pretty interesting. We actually ended up taking off and hiding behind. Instead of going into the building, we hid behind everybody. But, yeah, Blandford had told us that all of this was theirs. And then I ended up doing some research and found out that the Jewish one, and then you guys.
Well, we do, we go from there back to the woods, and actually the woods back there belong to ST.Joseph, so we've got almost double the space if we needed it, but so far we haven't needed it. It's pretty well sold, most of it's sold, except for this section over in here, which is, I've got a number of full squares. But,
I never knew about the square thing until I heard that on.
Here there are squares, 8 graves. Initially in the early days it was 10 graves, 5 across and then 5 more. But since we require vaults nowadays, which are 3 feet by 8 feet, you can only get 8 graves in a square. But I think at Blandford they still do 10 graves in a square. But nowadays we require a vault, which is, the cement thing that the casket actually goes into. So, and there's some, actually some relatively, maybe not real famous people, but there's some in this history that they've described. In fact, there was a Colonel Brady whose grave is right on the other side of the trees there.
I was actually I came across that name, and I was going to ask you.
Yeah, and he was an officer in the Irish Brigade during the Civil War, and then after the war, he was actually from Virginia apparently, and but went on the north side. Was on the north side because his family originally was from the north.
Oh, wow.
And but anyway, he was in the Irish Brigade and fought in all those battles with the so-called Irish Brigade for the Union. And
I got Irish descent, so I'll try to bring that out.
Yeah, and just a month ago, first time ever, they had a commemoration of his death actually over here, where they have a they're not reenactors, but it's a historical Civil War group
Oh, wow.
in the Richmond area, and it's the James T. Brady Civil War something or other. Anyway, a group of them came down and had a ceremony here and laid a wreath. And
Okay.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's what we like to do is a lot of Civil War stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've done
Okay,
the
well-
battlefields.
we have.
And speaking of that, y'all had mentioned, and I forgot the name of it. I hope I can think of it. But there was a war around here that I didn't even know of. I think it started with an A, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. I might have to go back and look and get the name of it.
Well,
But y'all had mentioned it was like right out. I think it was like right out here somewhere.
well, the first battle of Petersburg took place down Crater Road here.
Yeah.
With what they call the Battle of the Young Boys and the Old Men.
Yeah.
Yeah, we.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's down a piece down where the intersection Sycamore and Crater Road come in.
I knew that's where it
Yeah.
was. Okay.
And I don't know that much about it, except that when the Union forces, when Grant was making his sweeping move to try to get around Lee, he came across the Appomattox, or he sent troops across the Appomattox and the James to try to get into Petersburg, which was a big rail hub at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so there weren't many troops here, and so the troops that were available were mostly convalescing and old men and
Right.
so-called young boys, and
Yeah.
they sort of held off the Union until I think Beauregard was the general that came in and finally with some troops keep the Union.
Yeah, what I keep reading is like they held them off as long as they could.
Yeah,
They did a
yeah.
good job of doing it too.
And you probably read or heard about the Battle of the Crater.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's just on the other side of Blandford here. Our woods go back to where Blandford picks up again, and then on the other side of Blandford, just not more than a quarter mile, is where the Battle of the Crater took place. So that's only about a half a mile, less than a mile back to where the Battle of the Crater took place. And if you did any history of Blandford, they used the Blandford Church down there as a hospital.
Yeah.
There's a lot of history if you wanted to talk about it, but I don't know all the details of all the individuals. I'm not from this area. I've lived here for about 40 years, and I've been working with the cemetery for almost 25.
Okay.
But right now I'm the administrator, and I'm trying to find somebody to take my place.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you retiring?
Yes, retire.
Well, I don't know what the qualifications are, but I met him 17 years ago from Kentucky. We met online, and I moved here. And during the pandemic, we didn't have nothing to do. Everybody, because everybody was. So we started doing this, and I mean, I have just fell in love with the cemeteries around here and the history around here and everything. And I mean, I don't know everything. I still, researching myself and everything, but. I mean, the cemetery, I mean, they're so full of the history and, all that. And we want to get that, we want to capture that and everything. And
well, you can see I'm from Nebraska, so I'm a little out of it. I'm not really a southerner at heart, but
it's funny. I can't tell you a name of a street around here, but if you tell me what it's located by, I can find it. I still don't even know the name of the streets. And so,
well, in addition to these two priests, we have two other priests, and they're buried in the back on either side with family plots with people that donated their space to them.
Okay.
And we have two nuns that are right over here. The two white crosses there.
Okay.
That's the ones I was telling you about last night.
And those need to be cleaned again. I clean them every once in a while, but they get mildewy.
Those are the nuns, the white crosses.
This is what we do. We don't really do too much of anything else right now.
Yeah. We done kept safe through COVID because the people we're around are already dead.
My mother-in-law's like, you really? I was like, I'd rather be around the dead people and not have to worry about dying right now. I know God's got my time and date, you know, whenever.
Yeah.
Marked with whatever I'm going to die with, but right now I just stay around the...
Yeah. Well, the other interesting thing, and that's in the history, we have a Gypsy area.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That's over there by those cedar trees. And there's 20-some gypsies buried in there, starting in the 1920s. They're Catholics, of course, and they were an itinerant band of, their names are Mitchell, mostly, but they would travel up and down the East Coast, I guess, with carnivals and that sort of thing.
Okay.
And they have several cemeteries on the East Coast that they had buried folks in, and they would stop in here and pay homage to their ancestors and have a little party. And but anyway, they're over there, and one of them, it's noted there in the history as Ruby, Queen of the Gypsies, and that's on the grave marker.
Oh, wow.
Walk over there, you can take a look at it.
That's right. That's cool. That could be a piece by itself.
Yeah.
We have soldiers from all the wars, not the 1812, but starting in Civil War, but the only Southern soldier that's buried here that I know is this one right here.
I got boots on.
And he was a Confederate soldier.
You ready for the snow?
Yes, anytime. I love skiing. I don't ski anymore, but I used to love to do it.
Oh, wow.
My dad actually liked to ski.
That's cool.
Yeah.
This soldier was killed in World War I.
Okay.
And if you've, you know, Petersburg, going down South Sycamore Street, just past the, where 85 crosses over, or where it crosses 85, there's what they call the Soldiers Monument, or the Doughboy Monument. And there's 20-some soldiers from Petersburg that died during World War I that are commemorated there. And 3 of them are buried here, including Mr. Powers.
Okay. We'll come over here.
So, and if you haven't seen done anything about that monument, it's an interesting memorial. Somebody ran into it about 2 years ago, went off the road and damaged it, but it didn't knock it over.
Yeah, I
That's
heard
good.
you had mentioned that, and I was telling him I was going to look that up too.
Yeah, this is cool. I'm so glad you're letting us do this. We really appreciate it.
Is the our Gypsy area.
Look at this, guys.
And this gentleman is the husband of Ruby Mitchell. And you can see Queen of the Gypsies.
Yeah. Very nice.
Now all of these graves are covered with marble or It looks like mostly marble or granite slabs, and which is common in Europe. A lot of them did that. A lot of the cemeteries in Europe are like that. Our historian and the current historian in the church says that a lot of conjecture is that the reason they did that is so nobody robbed the graves.
Oh yeah.
Which was
a thing
common in the old days. But anyway, these are all of these are there, including on the other side of those crosses, are gypsies.
I'm gonna walk around.
In fact, these are cleaned up a lot. If you watch the video, and I forget which number this showed up at, 5 or 6, I think.
We literally got a queen of gypsies over here. That's cool. All right. I got a good look on that side too. Are we able to come out here tonight if you want to?
I don't think I can make it tonight. Is your question, can you come out and do it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
You know, as long as you present it in favorable light.
Oh yeah, yes sir.
Yeah, we took even Kyle from the Historical Society, because we do a lot of stuff with them.
Yeah.
He let us go quite a few places, but one of them was the Poplar Lawn in Petersburg.
Yeah, he actually gave us the keys to it, and I still got the keys.
To it. We let the police know that, you know, that we're out there. Like, we would let them know that we're going to be out here on what time and everything. And I mean, we've had cops come up on us, and ask, and we tell them. And we actually had a cop in Pamplin. Was it called Pamplin?
Mm-hmm. Pamplin, Virginia.
Pamplin, Virginia, at a little ghost town up there, and he was shocked at the stuff we caught and everything. So we don't bother anything or anything like that. And
okay, no problem.
okay.
Do you post this on a website?
Yeah.
Our YouTube channel.
A link for the YouTube, our YouTube channel. We have like a little over 500 followers, and it's mostly with all with other paranormal groups like us that they go out and do the same thing we do, and we just show the history and stuff of it to a lot of people. And we've had a couple people from Petersburg even say they didn't even know that this was different sections and it wasn't all Blanford and stuff like that.
That's a common mistake.
Yeah.
And so, well, even when they have a burial here, sometimes they may make a mistake and say in Blanford. So
Yeah.
But anyway, that road there is the border along with that hedge.
Okay.
So this is all ST.Joseph over here.
Okay.
That's good. It's nice.
Like I said, it goes all the way back, and then at the back we have a baby section, an infant section,
Okay.
where we've got about 55 babies in this little section. It's in a little cul-de-sac kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Right at the back when you go back there.
Yeah.
And then we have 2 columbarium for cremated remains back there. And
Oh wow.
we just put a new one in, so we've got 2 of them, and they hold 24 remains. Well, actually 24 niches, and each niche will hold two
Okay.
urns.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that.
But anyway, I don't know if Blanford has that, but I know South Lawn has a nice round columbarium where they can get like 70 some bodies in.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Oh yeah, my phone's about to die.
Look at one.
Yeah.
Turn it.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
It's already dying?
Yeah, it just came up saying that it's about to die. Huh. Battery may be running out soon. It was 100% when I got here.
But if you remember, when we was even over there, we had that constant problem. It was like we was getting so much of our equipment drained.
Yeah.
And that's one of
And
the
I bring charger packs and rechargeable battery. Yes,
And
it's
we was
crazy.
inside
Yes, it
that-
is.
Their building down there, and we actually had to get a hold of the guy. We was like, "There's no lights in here, right?" And he's like, "No." And our meters was just going off. And that night, we actually did a live video on Facebook, so people were seeing it, and they were like, "Well, there's lights around there." And I'm like, "There's no lights here. You know, there's
There's
nothing." And
Yeah, the guy that runs that one, he said there's the building has never been wired for electricity ever. So that's crazy.
He
It
couldn't
really
even
is.
believe all the stuff that we had sent him the link to the video, and he had watched it.
Well, if
So-
you're out here, you can't get into that building because that was locked. It does have electricity, but you can't get in.
All right. So it is okay if we come out tonight. We'll, like I said, we'll let the folks and
Okay.
stuff know and stuff.
Okay.
So,
I appreciate it. We really
yeah,
do.
We really do. And like I said, I'm gonna finish those videos today. It was like 2 in the morning, I think, when I ran across it. And
Yeah, they run a.
Yeah, I was actually watching some too.
yeah, and I heard him say your name, and I was like, wait a minute. And I looked at my phone, and I was like, well, I get to see what he looks like before I meet him.
Yeah, the other gentleman that was doing it along with Father Redmond is Ben Yazell, and he's a historian of sorts, so he's not a professional historian, but
Right.
he knows the church and the history, and he knows the families in here. A lot of the families in here that
Oh wow.
he knows that goes way back.
Right.
Since his family.
I know he went to the ST.Joseph school,
Yeah.
and because he was talking about one of his teachers, and I started laughing because I can't remember the man that asked him. He's like, "Well, was she one of those nice ones or the one with the rulers?" And I said, "Man, don't talk about the rulers," because I used to tell him I went to the ST.Joseph Catholic school in Kentucky when I was a kid, and I remember, "Mom, she hit me with the ruler," and she goes, "Well, what did you do?" I was like, I just tucked a little bit, and she goes, "Well, you deserved it." I'd come home, my knuckles would be.
Yeah, my wife.
Yeah.
My wife went to Catholic schools, and she says the same thing.
Oh, I said, and I had told her one day, I said, "You know, God don't like ugly." And she goes, "I'm not being ugly. I'm making sure you don't turn out ugly." And I'm like, "Yes, ma'am. I'll shut up now." But I still remember, it was one of the good schools where she was them rulers.
Yeah. When you get all the way to the back where the baby area is, we have an altar back there. We have mass out here occasionally, like on All Souls Day, and sometimes on Memorial Day. And also we have in that area there's about 100 and some people buried, but only a few markers. And that were folks that were buried that basically couldn't afford to buy a grave.
Right.
And the priests buried them back there. Unfortunately, we don't know where all of them are. We know generally where they are, but we don't know specifically where they're located.
Okay.
Okay.
So that area back there, there's a lot of people buried there, but not many markers.
Okay.
It's not like up in this developed area, so to speak. So.
Okay. Well, I know it's getting
Okay.
cold. Did you need to ask anything else? Or
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Okay.
Yeah, I put my my editing on it and stuff, and make it look real good.
Okay, well, if you have other questions, you can call me.
I definitely will. And I'll text you if I need to.
Yeah, and then send me a message with your
I'll send it to
connection, so
you. Okay.
I
I'll
appreciate
send
it.
that to you
Yes,
as
yes,
soon as
sir.
I get the call.
Okay,
All right, thank
Sounds
you.
good. All right.
I very much appreciate it.
Yes. I'm gonna head back up here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have somebody, we have a contract for somebody that takes care of the mowing and picking up limbs and that, but the contract expired at the end of December. I don't have a new one yet, so I have to, as soon as I get somebody hired, I'll get rid of the branches.
You want us to move that one for you tonight when you come back and put it up here if you wanted to?
If you could put it over by that tree,
Okay.
that'd be good.
Yeah, I'll do it right now. I don't
Let
care.
me take that.
If you don't mind. I appreciate it. I don't do as much physical work out here as I used to.
Like I said, we don't, that's what we tell them when we...
Yeah, we have to be careful. This big tree over there loses limbs all the time. It's a big old oak tree.
It's beautiful out here. Y'all done a great job.
Yeah, it's really pretty here in the spring. Got a lot of crepe myrtle scattered around, and I have a fellow that helps me. We've been planting a lot of trees and bushes and stuff, and especially in the back area there where it doesn't really have much. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
It was nice meeting you.
It was nice meeting you.
Good luck with your adventures.
We'll try.
In fact, there was a Colonel Brady whose grave is right on the other side of the trees there.
I was actually I came across it.
Yeah, he was an officer in the Irish Brigade during the Civil War, and then after the war, he was actually from Virginia apparently, but went on the north. Initially, in the early days, it was 10 graves, 5 across and 5 more. But since we require vaults nowadays, which are 3 feet by 8 feet, you can only get 8 graves.
Right over there.
And we actually called the police department to make sure, because there's been a lot of shootings. And the woman was like, well, honey, y'all should have been gone by then. I said, oh, no, honey, we got it on video.
Oh, well.
And she was like, really? So we had a police officer call us back and ended up using our video to tell these people, hey, you're lying about the time. You know, we've got this on. So it was pretty interesting. We actually ended up taking off and hiding behind, instead of going into the building, we hid behind it. But,
Hit the like button.
Hey, hit the subscribe button.
Hey, hit the subscribe button.
Hey, hit the like button.